Hi, I'm Nicole at Identity Week, and today I'm here with Louise Cole, who's Head of Customer Experience and Facilitation at IATA. How are you today, and how are you finding the event?
It's good. It's been a very, very busy day so far.
So tell us a little bit about IATA and what you do.
IATA is an industry organisation, International Air Transport Association, so the industry association for airlines. And we work to support the airlines, to advocate on behalf of the airlines, to work with governments and international bodies to ensure that regulations are fair and achievable. And we provide standards. We provide standards for the aviation industry, everything from the bag tag on your luggage through to the temperature and the cabin is standardised in IATA.
Lovely, and like you said, so you deal with a lot of things with the aviation industry. So do you think that there's going to be a change from the traditional, the physical passports to digital IDs and digital passports? Do you think that's going to take over?
Definitely, it definitely needs to. Digital identity is a huge issue. I think it's one of the biggest global pressing issues, and there's a great market in digital identity also. There's a need for the physical books. There is still a need for those. There's a need for those physical credentials because you have to have those for the least tech savvy boarder as well. But for most parts of the journey, from booking your flight, from buying duty free, checking in for your flight, you shouldn't need a physical passport. You should be able to do those things where you're interacting with an airline or an airport instead of with a border guard, a border officer. You should be able to use your digital identity the same way you'd expect to with your bank.
And do you think there's some hesitation from the public to go all digital, like with regards to safety, and I can imagine a little bit of uncertainty as to what that entails?
Definitely, and we saw that with the COVID certificates, where people knew that they had it on their phone to be able to show, but they still printed it out. They still printed it out and kept it in their handbag, kept it in their pocket just in case, and that will sit there. At the same time, I do think what we all collectively experienced in COVID, and we saw this technology working of a verifiable credential that was privacy protecting. You didn't know what type of vaccination I had or whether it was a recovery certificate. You just saw a green tick. That's raised comfort levels. We've seen a significant change. We do a global passenger survey every year at IATA, and in the last couple of years, we've seen a massive increase from, I think, 46% to 83% of passengers saying they're comfortable sharing their biometric data in advance of travel. They're comfortable sharing their personal data in advance of travel if it's going to make it easier at the airport. That they're not going to have to queue, and the queues that we've seen, all the bits of paper that people have to present. We want to get to that point where people can do all of that from their couch at home using the thing they've got in their hand already to be able to present their documents in a digital way and get to the airport, drop their bag and head airside for a nice cold beer before you board the plane.
It would make sense, wouldn't it? It would be great. And so what do you think the current trends in the industry are right now, and more specifically the aviation industry? What do you think we'll see in the next few years?
Definitely digital identity. I mean, aviation, there's a few areas, but I'll stick to the topic of the week. Digital identity. And again, really important, not just for the border crossing component, but for everything. Everything that you do. To be able to highly personalise your choices and then to be able to communicate using your digital identity in the digital wallet in your phone. An example would be if your flight was disrupted, and at the moment if there's a cancellation, and unfortunately we're seeing a lot of that across Europe right now, there's a cancellation, you're on the phone to a contact centre, there's long queues, or you're waiting in line to speak to someone at the airport. If you had those secure encrypted channels and those personalised agreements, you could have vouchers issued directly. You could be rebooked and have that ticket reissued to your digital wallet on your phone. It's still not a nice experience to have a disruption, but the stress is significantly reduced when it's able to be automated and the way that it's resolved. Using the customer really as the reference of all of this, putting the customer, the passenger, in the heart of the process is what the digital identity allows you to do, and expect to see more of that from airlines.
And lastly, why do you think it's important to attend events like Identity Week? Is it to spread exposure on these things that people may not know about, or what's it for you?
For me, it's always a lot of networking and understanding and keeping on top of all the different developments and technologies that are out there. Our role isn't to create products to sale. We standardise, but we want to know what those trends are. What are the trends that are out there that could actually help make things easier for our member airlines to conduct their business?
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the event.
Thank you very much.